but you're communicating with these attorneys. They want to know how working with you is going to add value to their case. And so that's the third pillar, your communications with attorneys. The most valuable value driver out there right now, it's so popular, it's not going away, because this also causes an event that leads to a chronic health issue. So it's not just an injury. A TBI or a concussion is a chronic health issue. From the World Health Organization, the CDC, they consider brain injuries a chronic health issue. It starts with an injury, but these injuries don't heal in 90 days like a sprain strain. A person with a traumatic brain injury, even a mild traumatic brain injury, like again, a mild brain injury is like being a little pregnant. A brain injury is a brain injury. It could take 5 to 20 years to overcome all the symptoms of a brain injury. And left untreated, listen to this, left untreated could cause Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, ALS, early onset dementia. So if you don't have a TBI protocol in your office, are you providing the best care for your patients? Let's just start there. 54%, more than half of patients that go to an ER, the staff at ERs miss concussion diagnoses. 80% of people that stay in hospitals, they miss a concussion diagnosis. You as chiropractors and pain doctors in this space, we can do better. And it's imperative that you do better. Because when you do better and you learn more and you offer more to your community, to the patients that you serve, offer more to the attorneys that you serve if you're in the personal injury space, this makes you a valuable person in the personal injury space. Okay, so we're going to talk about a few of these TBI protocols depending on how involved you want to be. From just taking a little test and sending it out to a neurologist and letting the neurologist handle it, at least you have the ability to know that this person may have a concussion because they filled out this test, which I'm going to show you in just a second, all the way up to a full turnkey system that you can install in your office to generate a scan, get paid, bill for all of that, and add 7 figures to your practice. Of course, it's a big investment. You got to spend money to make money, but wherever you are in your chiropractic or physician journey, if you're just starting out, you've been in it 5, 10 years, 20 or 30 years, wherever you are, there is a TBI protocol that's the right fit for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And if you're in and you're watching, give me a like, give me some loves, write a comment. Thank you, Rob. Thank you. I appreciate that you being here. Thank you, Michael. All right, so here we go. So at the very minimum, you can download this right from Google, the Rivermead Post-Concussion Symptom Questionnaire. You hand this to your patient. Here's the key, 0 through 4, and they go through all of these symptoms. And then once they fill out this questionnaire, you can use this questionnaire. If they have some positive findings, make this referral out to a neurologist, right? A medical neurologist, okay? Now, there is a test called the right eye test. So here's a website, righteye.com. So they've determined that looking at a person's eye, remember we were in medical and chiropractic school, someone was in an accident, we do the pen test like this, we move it around like that. So this is the right eye test, but it's more using digital technology. They can determine brain injuries through a right eye test. So you can reach out to this company here. They'll give you the little apparatus, that technology that is FDA approved for TBIs. And they've shown promise in being able to differentiate mild, moderate, and severe TBI cases. So this is an easy way to get into the game through using this right eye. We have a couple guys in the mastermind program using this right eye technology. Next, there's this website called impacttest.com. You can get certified for your TBI protocols for $299. They also have a $999 program, which involves a little more help from them. But impacttest.com is how you can get in the game. And they have a whole protocol that they can give you. And then, you're still referring it out to medical neurologists. But this is how you can get certified in TBI protocol. So it's impacttest.com. They provide training. Another one that I want to share with you is Concussion. So with Concussion, this is telemedicine, and they have medical neurologists in 46 states. Okay, and by the way, everything that I'm showing you, these devices are all FDA approved for TBI and concussion, because that's the one thing that's needed for these attorneys to get paid. It has to be an FDA approved device. Secondly, they have to be interpreted by a medical neurologist. Okay, as a chiropractor, we can still have all these things in our office and be able to do these tests, but we have to have them interpreted by a medical neurologist. So those are the two core ingredients of having a successful TBI protocol. So in Concussion telehealth, they have a system where your patient fills out some paperwork, they do, and then they're going to have a telemedicine call with a board certified medical neurologist, right? They even have neuropsychologists on their team. And again, this is in 46 states. So it's Concussion.com, ConcussionTelehealth.com. So this is how you can get a little more involved and start generating revenue from TBI. Concussion will charge, I think, $3,500 for their neurologist and for their examination. Okay, and so that's what they're going to charge. Now you can buy the paper from them for about 30 cents on the dollar, and then you can hold on to that $3,500 and wait for settlement. Okay, so you can generate a little revenue through Concussion's telehealth. Again, very simple, very easy to do. Chris Connolly, friend of mine, chiropractor here in the state of Georgia, very involved with Concussion telehealth, actually having lunch with him tomorrow, and very large attorney here. He's on a lot of the billboards, having lunch with him to discuss Concussion and TBI protocols. And I'm just telling you, I was at dinner last night. I met Harris and Michael Weinstein from the Weinstein firm. They've got billboards in Atlanta, Weinstein wins. And I flat out asked them, you're choosing between two chiropractors. One has a TBI protocol, and the guy a mile away doesn't have a TBI protocol. Where are you going to send your client? The one with the TBI protocol, and they just didn't hesitate. Okay, so that's Concussion telehealth. Okay, there's another procedure from the Shepherd Group Healthcare Partners, and this one is a full turnkey operation using this thing called BrainView. So with BrainView, what they'll do is they'll provide you the interface, kind of like a laptop, this headpiece, and the patient wears this headpiece, and it performs a scan. And it's about a 30 to 45 minute test. The patient just sits there, and the headpiece does all the work, and it'll generate a scan like on my screen here. It'll confirm the presence of a brain-related injury. It'll grade it mild, moderate, severe, and provide data. And so that scan is then sent to a board-certified medical neurologist who will interpret that scan and generate a report from you. And with this company, they pay for the first 50 reports from their neurologist in your state. Let's see. So this is a sample of the report, what it looks like through BrainView. And that report from the medical neurologist will have the diagnosis. It'll have treatment recommendations. It's just a full turnkey operation. And here's the thing. You can bill 4 figures. I think it's anywhere from all the way up to $10,000, depending what state you're in, for this examination in your office. In addition to your musculoskeletal, chiropractic, or physical medicine treatment. So you can bill both of those. So let's say you have, I'll just say $4,000 for your musculoskeletal treatment, $6,000 for the BrainView protocol. So you have a $10,000 bill. But here's what they'll also do. This company is hooked up with a funding company. So, and I got to tell you, the price of this is 6 figures, okay? It's more than 6 figures. So let's say your payment is $3,000 a month. They're hooked up with a funding company for every scan that you do. And by the way, attorneys will find out that you have this modality, and they're going to prefer you over other chiropractors because you have a TBI protocol. So they have a funding company. Let's say, and what they'll do is they'll fund you roughly an estimated 15% of what your treatment protocol will be. So if you estimate it's going to be $10,000 for the treatment of this patient, they'll pay you $1,500 per scan upfront. Now it's on a lien. So when the case settles a year down the road, they'll take their $1,500 back with a very little interest. And then you're going to get paid from the settlement on your treatment and on the brain scan and on the brain view. Okay. So you do 10 scans, $15,000 of cash flow. If you want it, you don't have to take that funding, but it's a really good option. So you don't have to freak out that you're behind the 8 ball so much to pay off this machine. But disseminating the information to all the attorneys in town that you have a TBI protocol this robust is going to turn attorneys on and make you a go-to provider. So they say if you do 50 scans a month, this is the amount of money that you can make with this protocol. And they also give you some exclusivity. They'll give you, I think, your exclusivity in the assigned market. I think it's anywhere from 10 to 25 miles, depending on what city you are. If it's a really, really big city, it might be 10 miles because according to this company, you're not going to be able to handle the load. So they want to be able to sell it to somebody else a little further away, 11 miles out. You get it. If you're in a less densely populated area, they may give you a 25-mile radius, but they will give you an exclusive provider radius clause. They won't sell it to anybody else in your area. So that's the brain view. So just depending on how involved you want to be, if you just want to be able to pop a questionnaire for your patients that may or may not have a TBI and then refer it out to a medical neurology, you can do that. I've showed you some websites. If you want me to go over them again, so you can write them down. We have impacttest.com. Get some information there. We have the right eye test. This test can help diagnose mild, moderate, severe TBI. We have Concussion telehealth. So if your patient tests positive, they have positive symptoms that may lead to a positive diagnosis of a TBI or concussion. Your patient can call and have a telehealth appointment with a board certified medical neurologist and go through their protocol. And then all the way up to the Shepherd Group, the Brain View product, totally turnkey, hooked up with a funding company, and they provide you the medical neurologist. They give you the first 50 reads absolutely free. And then I think it's maybe $350, something like that per scan. I just talked to one of the people from Concussion that does IMEs. A person had a 5% whole body impairment on his IME. And through that impairment rating and that report from the certified doctor that did the IME, the attorney was able to get $1 million settlement on a 5% whole body impairment, because the 5% of the body that was impaired was the brain. Do you see why attorneys are now looking for doctors that have a TBI protocol? Because these attorneys want $1 million settlements. And now you have leverage. You better get your bill paid on that settlement. I've already done some videos where they have to be transparent with you in settlement negotiations. Bar Rule 1.15, safekeeping of records. They have to give you a full accounting if you have an interest in the case. The interest in your case is your bill. They have to tell you who else has bills, what those bills are, and they have to be transparent with you. It says their own bar rule. And so if they get $1 million settlement, you don't get your bill paid, you tell them they're going to have to find somebody else to send their concussion patients to, because you're not going to tolerate that. I mean, that's the biggest bunch of BS I've ever heard. Okay. So Kevin, I think, yes, Concussion. I hope that answered your question. Thumbs up. Cool. Freddie, impacttest.com. Yes, impacttest.com. You can call somebody there, click on some links in there as well. And you'll find their tests. They do have a test that you can take for $2.99. You can pay for it online. It's a 3-part test. And through that 3-part test, you get certified in TBI protocols. Or you want to talk to me, type protocol beneath this video. I can shoot you a message. We can hop on a phone call. I can point you in the right direction. I can make some introductions for you, depending on whichever TBI protocol that you want. But if you really want to help your patients at just a higher level, if you want to earn a little more revenue, get more respect in the community by doing something that very few are doing right now, this is the time to do it. be on the forefront of something I mean, concussions have been around. Don't get me wrong. This isn't a new injury. But the ability for us as chiropractors and pain doctors in the personal injury space to help our patients more, help our businesses more, and help these attorneys get bigger settlements to pay our bills, make sure the patient gets the care that they need for the next 15 to 20 years. Because like I said, 1 out of 4 concussion patients is going to recover. 75% of them are either going to die, worsen, or stay the same. And over 50% of patients that walk in emergency rooms get misdiagnosed or don't even get diagnosed with a concussion when they have one. And that's from, you can Google that, there's a medical reference, I don't recall it right now, but those are the stats. So if you want some more information, type protocol beneath this video. You can go to the personal injury marketing. You're in the personal injury marketing group. There's ways to get a hold of me if you want to hop on a call, or just shoot me a message. Shoot me a private Facebook message, Mark Slater. Let's hop on a call. Let's figure out how we can help you get a personal injury protocol in your office. And I'm telling you, this is going to 5, 10, 20, even 50x your personal injury referrals, because very few people are doing this right now. You don't want to be like everybody else. You want to stand out in personal injury. And when you have a TBI protocol in your office, this is the way to do it. Okay, as I said, these attorneys are getting very little pushback on head and brain injuries, right? They're going to push back on sprain strains. They're going to push back on lots of different things, but they're not messing with the brain. So being able to diagnose this and get the patient the treatment that they need, and putting all this in your notes, the attorneys are looking for you. They're looking for the doctors with the TBI protocol. This is from the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. DCs are qualified to evaluate, diagnose, and manage patients and athletes of all ages who have sustained a concussion. So I don't care what your state says, this is from the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. Now, we may not be able to treat it, but we have the ability to diagnose it. That's one letter, that's Norman Alts, the CEO of the NBCE. Also, the Council on Chiropractic Education. I can affirm that doctors of chiropractic receive extensive didactic and clinical training for the evaluation, diagnosis, management, including the appropriate referral of conditions under the subjects of neurology, first aid, emergency procedures, inclusive of concussion-related disorders. Involved you want to get, but at the very basic level, a TBI protocol is just going to make you a lot more attractive to attorneys and other doctors, other chiropractors that you can market to that don't have a TBI protocol. Send them to us. Now, the one thing, and as chiropractors, you know, most of you know this, the one thing that chiropractors fear the most, especially when they make referrals to medical doctors, is they're going to steal the patient and never going to see him again. Well, as a chiropractor, and you know that, and you have a TBI protocol and you're marketing to other chiropractors, you tell them, let me get this diagnosis for you, make sure that they're okay. And when they're able to resume chiropractic treatment, we're going to refer them back to you. Okay. Working for a medical, in the medical profession, a spine surgeon, this was vital in our marketing of getting referrals from chiropractors of their patients who could be surgical candidates. We just had to tell them, even if they didn't have surgery with us, maybe they had stem cell therapy, when their nerves calm down, you know, we had interventional pain docs in that practice giving injections. With those injections, when the nerves calm down, we made sure to refer them back to the chiropractor to resume their treatment. And that's how we were so successful, because we didn't burn any bridges. Again, personal injury is about relationships. These are relationships. And when you burn a relationship, there's no more referrals and no more working together. Okay, here's a question. Can neuropsych diagnose concussion via telehealth? Yes. Yes. Jackie, what I recommend you do is go to braincussion.com. If you want to reach out to me, you can type protocol. I don't know if you already have. I can give you a phone number of a person at Braincussion who can answer all your questions. If you want to get the doc on the call to answer all those questions as well and talk about how this works, happy to make that introduction for you privately if you'd like. Chiropractors can be a great source of referrals for you. But if you steal their patients and you start getting a reputation, it's just not going to work. So always tell them, hey, man, I'm going to do the best I can to get your patient from A to B. And when they're at B and they're able to resume treatment with you, I'm going to refer them back. It's as simple as that. It's just so nice to hear. And you'll have a referral partner for as long as you practice when you just have that attitude with these chiropractors that are in personal injury, right? This is a group effort. Again, it's all about relationships. If you have a TBI protocol coming up and you could do a baseline scan this fall during these high school football physicals, if you can get with the high school association and say, hey, we have this TBI protocol, we'd like to do a baseline scan on all of the players if they want, so that if they have a concussion during the season, we have something to compare it to. And you can charge a $250 upfront cash price. Now, you may say to yourself, well, that sounds like a lot, $250 for a test for a high school kid for concussion. Yeah, parents will pay anything for their kids. They're buying them $200 Nike Air Jordans several times a year. They're spending all this money on ridiculous stuff. You don't think they're going to pay for a brain injury assessment to protect their child? $250 is a drop in the bucket. So you do 5 high school teams with 50 patients times $250 per kid. There's just so many opportunities that you have business-wise with the TBI protocol, not just in personal injury, but also with just your normal commercial insurance patients. They may have neck pain, back pain, but maybe they fell, maybe they hit their head. You don't know. Are they having symptoms? You can provide a test, and you can have a TBI protocol, not just for your personal injury car accident patients, but for all of your patients when appropriate. Does every single one of your patients need a questionnaire if they've had a concussion? No. You have to be able to explain based on their subjective findings, what they're saying to you, what their symptoms are, and what your objective findings are in your physical exam. And if they're having nausea, headaches, dizziness, that is an appropriate time to give them the River Mead or Stanford concussion test. And if they circle numbers that are high numbers because they're having severe symptoms, now you have a person that may have a concussion diagnosis, and then they're going to be in your TBI protocol, whatever you decide that is. Dr. Wood just asked, how long does it take to perform a TBI test? That brain view test is a 30 to 45 minute test where they wear the headpiece and sit there while the test does the scan of the brain. The right eye test, I think, is very quick. And in a telehealth, it's just an appointment. So it just depends on which TBI test you're talking about. But you're looking at, from the longest test I've heard is about 30 or 45 minutes from that brain view, the whole turnkey solution there. My name is Mark Slater. You can reach out to me, send me a Facebook message. We can get in a conversation. I can hook you up with resources where you can get a little bit more detailed information to figure out which TBI protocol is right for you. And then if you want to get in my private program, I'll give you the framework of the conversation to have with these attorneys that makes them perk up, because the value driver of a concussion and personal injury can 50x or 100x the settlement amount. A positive concussion, a positive TBI was in the paperwork, in the notes of this patient. So these insurance companies are not messing around with TBI. They're getting very little pushback. We're getting very little pushback on concussions from the insurance companies. If it's on there and there's objective findings from an FDA-approved device with a medical neurologist, they're not touching it. They're paying it. And if they're not paying it, they're getting spanked in court, because a jury of 12 people said, wow, this person had a brain injury and the insurance company didn't want to pay for care that this person is going to need. And they're showing these jurors that this can cause Alzheimer's, early onset dementia, Parkinson's disease, and the insurance company didn't want to pay because this is now a chronic illness, not necessarily an injury. They're getting spanked in court. We're on the upper shift of this right now. Now is the time to have a TBI protocol, because very little chiropractors that I know have one, and the ones that do have a TBI protocol wish they had it 10 years ago. But I'm always putting content in here for you to help you be a better marketer, to help grow your business, to help get you more personal injury patients, and just help more people make more money and get bigger settlements.